Yo, welcome to another episode of Under the Surface, a talk show where we talk all things Bazaar. This time we decided to take a closer look at the merchants in the Bazaar. We are going to briefly examine their usefulness, but also who they are and what is their friendliness level. We all know that friends are first and profits are 10th, so with that in mind, let's dive under the surface. Welcome back to another episode of Under the Surface. Today we are going to do something more fun, more light-hearted, and we are going to talk about merchants/characters of the Bazaar. Which ones are our favorite in general because of their, personality or something. Maybe there are some that frustrate us in some capacity. And in general, there are some categories that we would like to pierce, in the sense that which merchant is the best in the bronze category, which one is the best in the silver category, things like that. If we want to start with the very first and the easiest question, I think, which is your top one favorite character just in general? Like, who would be your friend?
I think Barcoon would be my friend if I had to pick one singular person. He's such a nice guy, and I don't know, he just has a real passion for what he does. So I could see myself getting along with him.
Yeah, Barcoon is definitely really laid back, and he's appreciative of everything you sell him, regardless of what it is.
He's kind of stylish too.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. If I were to pick someone, I think that would be Tinker, because he's also like this pretty chill dude, and he sells friends, and as I play mostly Dooley, he's the guy I certainly look forward to visiting every time, because he has good items. I don't know, I like his voice because it's a little bit modulated to represent that he's a robot, but he's so cheerful,
Yeah, when I play Dooley, that's like not just because of the items, but because of his demeanor too. I'm just always excited to visit him. But it also kind of weirds me out that he's selling the friends, because he's kind of like implies in his dialogue that he's like giving you the friends to like watch over them,
Yeah, I mean,
so
I guess maybe there's some idea of building teams, so you are just employing them, those friends.
okay, maybe that's a better way to look at it.
Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but Tinker reminds me of Bulldozer, sort of. Like, his upper body is sort of in that vibe. Well, in this case, Tinker is more of has white armor, whereas Bulldozer is, I think, red. As we haven't seen yet Tinker in his whole character, his whole silhouette, do you think he also has tracks, or does he have regular legs?
I mean, I just assumed he has regular legs, but he definitely has a similar vibe to Bulldozer. Every robot in this world has some sort of built-in purpose, right? So, he could just be a plain humanoid robot, but in the Bazaar, they seem to have more obvious purposes besides Dooley. But, every robot, it's obvious what Bulldozer does, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of would lean, maybe he does look a little different on the bottom half just to show what his use case is.
Okay, I think that's something that we're waiting for. Maybe next video or in 2 weeks' time on Tempo's channel, we could learn more about friends, putting it out there. Right, okay. So I think those two choices were pretty cool. But how about we look into something more narrow? We have a couple of bronze options that we can find at the start of the run, Andy, Ayla, Mittel, Kina, and JJ. First of all, which of these you visit the most when you try to, start assembling your build?
I mean, probably JJ, right? JJ is just such he is the generic merchant. So he's kind of always a merchant you want to go to. No matter what your build is, who you're playing as, he's always a pretty good option. I really like Middle too, just because I like medium items. But I would probably say JJ is my most visited.
Okay, I mean, it's reasonable, definitely. It makes sense. You have the broadest range of options offered to you. However, I choose Andy, I think, because you have limited space on your board at the start of the run, and I prefer having like more effects going off more frequently than something more bulky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, my problem with Andy is he's just ethically, I can't visit his shop. It's the
And
way he acts.
he's rude. He's terribly rude.
He's definitely good. He's definitely good, and it's kind of I don't know, like all of these merchants are good. Like you're never not really visiting them. I guess Ayla and Kina are kind of dependent on if you're going weapons or not. Like I find myself going to Ayla a lot on Vanessa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that makes sense. Though, as I said, I mostly play dually. I'm certified dually main, so I rarely high five Ayla. Like Kina's my girl usually because I don't know. There's not that many weapon friends or good weapons in general in dually's pool, at least in my opinion. Or maybe
Yeah.
I'm just a pacifist.
I love Kina's voice lines too. And like when you don't buy anything from her, she goes, "I guess you'll buy a weapon then."
Instead, yeah,
Yeah, instead, yeah. And I'm like, okay.
yeah,
Middle's
that's
great too. I don't know. The voice acting in this game is just top notch.
Metal, she feels clingy and like she shortens the distance fairly quickly in the sense that like she wants to deliver your package to your door, and she gives a ride home free of charge. And I imagine going to a car dealership and your the person who sells you a car just offers you to drive you home with your new car, and it's just I don't know, it feels
Yeah.
off.
I want to be creeped out by it, but she's so nice that it just feels more motherly, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know, I feel sort of like uneasy every time I hear that quote. Okay, so I guess those were our opinions on those two merchants, but I think silver tier is the most diverse in the game. So there are a lot of options, and they are hero dependent in a lot of cases. From what I have heard, like birds are chirping that you are Vanessa main, most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
Sort of just happened, but yeah.
if you are considered a Vanessa main, you have Nautica and Colt as your exclusive merchants, right? So what do you think about them?
They're kind of the extremes of each other, right? Like you're going sort of like a aquatic build, obviously Nautica's like the best merchant you can get. And I feel like if you're going weapon spam, which I love weapon spam builds, easiest 7 wins of your life. And Colt is like I think they're both like the merchant you want to find, right? If you're running you that specific build. But they're also like the least useful merchant if you're running the opposite build.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I love seeing them. I think I like Nautica's personality more. It's just more fun, but they're both good.
Yeah,
So
she's sort of odd, I'm not really sure, but she feels quirky.
she's not like other girls, like that sort of girl.
Yeah.
What is her species? That's my question.
Isn't she some sort of a mer person?
I guess can't see the bottom half, so but I guess she's yeah. I don't know. I'm like kind of interested in. I guess she lives under the surface, of water.
She might
So-
be. She might be.
Uh,
Yeah, in terms of like Dooley's exclusive merchants, there's Tinker. I mean, Tox Clogs, he's also sort of exclusive, but I don't know. Like, he's pretty cool. I talked about Tinker and my position on him, but I feel like Tok is also really popular in terms of being a merchant, Like, I feel like if you see Tok, you fairly often consider going there, even if you're tight on money.
Yeah, on Vanessa a lot lately. I feel like slow builds are kind of really good right now, so I find myself going there quite a bit.
What do you think about his character? He might have a good dealer, I think.
Yeah, he's hyped up on something, that's for sure. Have you ever seen Hoodwinked?
It's a brilliant film, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like low budget, but
Totally.
it's so well put together. So,
Yeah, and you are referring to the squirrel, right?
Yeah, every time I see this guy, I think of that squirrel, like when he drinks the coffee.
Yeah.
Uh,
I to be fair, I think that was the first Quicksilver scene ever to be put on a screen, but I'm not 100% sure.
that's actually crazy if it's true. But that's the vibe I get from Tox Clocks. And I get like, Tox Clocks might just be like on drugs actually. But I don't know. Is he like a time traveler? Is he just so fast? He's like, what is happening with him? I don't really understand what his deal is. And I just
Yeah.
kind of ignore him when I go to him. I just kind of ignore his dialogue.
I mean, he might be either on pretty hard drugs, he might be a speedster, or yeah, he might be some sort of like weird dimensional being. But is Talk actually a squirrel? Like on this picture, I mean, he has pretty like large front teeth and big ears.
He also
I mean,
gives like has the big clock like the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. So I think
yeah.
so. Maybe it's I don't know. It's hard to tell what he actually is.
I guess now that you've mentioned Hoodwink, maybe there was actually some, inspiration there. I mean, that's probable, I think, to some degree.
It's like a cult following for people our age too. So yeah,
Yeah,
good merchant.
definitely. Okay, but we have a couple other silver merchants. For example, we have the newest edition Valpak, so he's pretty chill dude, but there's also like Paul or Kev. Paul sells large items, Kev sells health and shield items. Actually, I rarely go to Kev's because there's rarely any necessity for it. I mean, sort of passive builds aren't as popular on Vanessa or Dolly or even Mac. Like, I think you have to be playing Pig to be excited to go to Kev's.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to hate on Kev's Armory, but he's like a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy, so I didn't want to like trash talk him. But yeah, I'm like never. I don't think I've ever been excited to see him. Maybe on Pig a couple of times, but yeah,
Yeah.
the real merchant that you want to see on Pig is Prospero.
Or
That's the
Mr.
guy I'm looking
Morland.
for.
Mr. Morland is. I mean, yeah, Mr. Morland is gold tier, so maybe I went a bit too far there. But yeah, Prospero definitely.
Best voice line in the game, by the way.
He has this like sort of drawling, like this snobbish voice, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he says, isn't he the one who says, "Mr. Pygmalion, you're as shrewd as you are handsome," or whatever?
Oh my, what a flatterer!
Yeah, gets me every time.
I think that's the like he tries to lube you up before you come in, and then you are more likely to spend more money. That's all psychological.
I mean, his items are so like it's always worth going to him, or very often it is. So,
And I'm not sure. Maybe you could argue with this, but I think Prospero has the best outfit out of all the merchants.
it's very nice. He's got money.
Oh yeah,
And he's got like I never really looked at it this closely. He's got like a crystal thing too. What is that?
probably some sort of curio. Like he deals with economic items, so maybe there's like representation of a gem in this situation. So a highly valued item. I don't know. Maybe there's a connection there. Maybe he's a collector.
I think there's one silver tier merchant we haven't discussed yet that desperately needs to be discussed.
Who's that?
Curio. I think if you ask the average person who their favorite merchant is, I think Curio would be most people's first choice.
Yeah, he might be. Like, he's the bro.
And he's another one of those merchants where, like, no matter what your build is, he's basically always useful because
Yeah.
he just sells a bunch of junk, like actually just a bunch of junk. So
Yeah. Use the landfill. I see buried treasure.
and he says the like best thing he says is that's been sitting there 20 years
Yeah.
waiting for you or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely like Curio. I mean, there are situations where you don't want to see him. Like, I don't know, it's day 2. You've been collecting gold the whole, day. You've been putting off going to a merchant for the whole day, and hour 4 comes in, and you decide whether you want to go to a merchant or take maybe some health or more gold, and then you decide, okay, yeah, I can take more gold, and the next last hour is going to be a cool merchant. I'm going to spend all of it. I'm going to become stronger, and then you roll curio and you have to just get to terms with the fact that you're not winning the next fight.
Yeah, you kind of need a board before he's good, but yeah, sometimes I just end up like buying the items for that give extra slow or extra haste and just pray that they're useful later.
Yeah, I sometimes do that
Yeah.
as well. But I mean, there are situations where you buy, for example, like this table leg early on, and you wait for your slowing item or maybe slow enchantment, and then it never comes, and you have to shamefully just sell that for like 2 gold at some point, to free up space. But
happens.
one item that I always look out for from Curio is Cloak, because it sometimes can enable some weapon builds or simply, allow you to scale faster with something.
I feel like even I can't remember the name of the item, but he has a couple like weapon items that can be useful early days. that I've-
Sandra is alright. I have never tried Junkyard Lance, but from what I have heard, it's actually useful. Like, it's usable at least.
Yeah, like I can't see it being like good in late game, but because that's the one where if you put for every small weapon or something you have, it does so much damage or small item.
Small item, yeah. And it counts
Yeah,
to
so-
your stash as well, so you can, have Junkyard Lance plus 16 other small items, like in the best case scenario. So I'm not sure how well it scales, but probably it's maybe around 3,000 damage a pop. I don't know. I have never tried it, but I heard that you can actually make a build around it.
Yeah. So Curio, we love you.
I guess we also have Midsworth, Quixel, Sylvia. Like, those are like mid-tier merchants, in my opinion. I sometimes visit Midsworth and Quixel, but like, at least for me, they are worse JJ, because the reroll is more expensive, and like the exclusion of one type of or one size of items isn't really impacting the range of items offered to you.
I don't know. Like I find myself like going to them and usually just hoping I find a small item, or I don't know. Like I never really take them up on their extra value offer for like large and medium items. I mean, if it works out that way, it's nice. But
Mhm.
with Barcoon though, it's like sometimes I'll save items and then be like, oh yeah, I saw Barcoon. Let me sell these gumballs real quick or something.
Yeah,
That's the
Barcoon
difference.
is easier to set up, definitely. If I were to choose, I would probably prefer Visit Quixel than Midsworth. Let's say you have one slot free and you want, something on your board, then you could, if you were to go to Quixel, it's more likely that you will find something useful. So you can either remove one small item and just put in a medium item, or just buy one small item, where if you roll a large item, and let's say it's super cool, but then you would have to make a huge rearrangement to your board, and sometimes it's too much of a hassle. I don't know, maybe that's a loser's mentality, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way. I guess we should probably move on to gold.
Yeah.
right?
It's going to be a long episode.
There's somebody I want to talk about in the gold tier, Goldie.
Mm.
I mean, he's the gold guy, I guess. But I hate that merchant. I hate seeing him. I hate his ugly toad face. I don't know what he is, but I really don't like the separating by tier of items versus size, because I feel like at least with size, you can find all these different items and you kind of know, like with Quixel, okay, small or medium, like what you're getting, right? Like like what we just talked about. But with gold tier, it can be basically anything, and then also you can only find upgrades on your gold tier items, right? I don't know. I just don't like it.
I mean, yeah, I think the best use for Goldie is, if you have, let's say, only silver items, or most of your items are silver and below, so you want to, pivot and upgrade your board. So in that situation, Goldie can be quick, jump start. It can get you ahead fairly quickly. Though, yeah, if you're sporting like fairly okay build at that time, there's rarely any reason to go to Goldie because it's not that likely that you will get something to either upgrade or actually useful item to swap out for something that you already have. But in terms of his looks, I don't know where he's coming from. Maybe there's some prejudice there, but like he feels rather polite, especially compared to guys like, let's say, Andy.
Yeah, nobody's as bad as Andy. Like, not even Goldie. I would take Andy out in a second.
I mean, Midsworth is sort of like self-absorbed as well, but he's not outright unpleasant.
Yeah, well, Midsworth isn't like a bad guy. He's just a little full of himself.
Yeah, because Goldie sells gold tier items, so maybe we could compare the whole trio, because there's also Sylvia, which we sort of missed, that offers silver tier items, and at Diamond there's Lux, okay. Diamond tier items, that's what he sells. So out of those three, I actually prefer Sylvia the most. I think she helps out with getting along, gathering items at the early stages of the game, and getting Lux or Goldie later on. I don't know, like they rarely help.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sylvia, I'm going to her a lot. But the thing with Lux and Goldie, like Lux, you see him so rarely that it doesn't like impact. Like if you see him, it's like, oh, cool. I see Lux. You know what I mean? And then you kind of look, and then you can't afford anything, and you leave. That's what happens. Like most of the time, I get to him. But Goldie's kind of in the like the worst of both worlds, where he only sells the gold items.
Yeah.
But you see him often enough that he becomes like sort of annoying when you see him, and you don't normally need to go to him.
Yeah, I would probably put in the same situation Orion, where like tools are at least somewhat usable subset of items, right? But the fact that he's gold means that his reroll is 6 gold. So usually you don't want to reroll there. You just go in, see the 3 items that you are offered, and if something is usable, sure, you can take that, and if not, you just move along.
Yeah, I guess that's the only. I mean, Mr. Moreland's really good.
Yeah, but he's Pygmalion exclusive, so like.
Oh yeah, true.
Like if you are a pig player, definitely you probably are fairly well acquainted with Mr. Moreland. I mean, and he's like shady persona. Like I like his design. Like he's like this. He's real estate dealer. I would describe him as such. Like he's skulking in a dark corner, and hey boy, do you want to buy a house? All paperwork, all standard, nothing to worry about.
It is weird because he's like a drug dealer or something in the back alley. I never really thought about how weird that is that he's selling real estate.
Yeah, Mr. Moreland is a cool boy, even though he's a bit shady. But just a quick jump back to Orion. His quotes are actually pretty fun. Like he sort of sounds like a clown character, in the sense that he sort of wants to really hard to fit in. He wants to be like the funny guy, but his jokes are a bit corny, I would say, because like there's something about Bucket saving his life, and I make the things that people repair things with, something along those lines as well. I mean, just to be clear, I'm not throwing shade at like writers and all that. Like I'm just analyzing the outcome and like the persona or character that just emerged out of those quick statements. So that's my interpretation of the character.
Yeah, we need an Orion miniseries to understand his background. Maybe he has like a really horrific, tragic backstory, and this is how he copes with it.
Okay, some sort of compensation there, maybe. I have nothing against the guy, but like sometimes it feels like unprofessional, like I mean, unprofessional. I'm judging like the attitude of a fictional character and his work. Great.
Yeah, from like 3 sentences of dialogue.
Yep.
I can't go. He's too unprofessional. I never visit him because just makes me so mad.
Show me his manager. I wanna file a complaint.
Oh,
Okay, but
boomer simulator. Yeah.
okay. Okay. But we also have diamond merchants, and those guys are the most expensive. They offer the most advanced stuff in the bazaar, and there's actually a couple of those guys right now in the game. And we talked about Lux. He's just selling vanilla diamond items, but there are a couple of merchants who actually offer targeted stuff, often with a appropriate engine. So Kronos sells haste items, Cobweb sells slow items, Hef sells burn items, Nightshade sells poison items, Seraphina sells enchanted items in general, so she doesn't exactly fit in that role, but she's like JJ on steroids, I would assume. And also there's Flex, and I think he's Pig exclusive, where he sells max health items. Like he's this buff Minotaur guy.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure if there are any more rare merchants. Do you think I missed something?
I think that's all, but I would have forgot the Minotaur guy.
Mhm.
Well, then you also have Zerfine's Safari, but I guess that's kind of different because he's skills.
Yeah, like Nufu, Grandmaster, this Safari, B2, B1, or even Mandala, I think, though. I wouldn't consider them merchants, first of all, because they do not appear on a left-hand slot. So, they are, in my opinion, events and things that trigger, like, get 25 HP every time you visit merchants, don't trigger then. So I don't think game even treats them as merchants.
Yeah. And it's more like you're paying for a service, right? Like canonically, like in the game. So
tell me what do you think about diamond merchants?
I mean, in terms of excluding Lux, basically, they're all good. They're all very expensive. Usually for their items, but like if you're running a really like you got a burn build and you just need that final piece to fit things together and to make it like just go crazy, and you see Hef, it's like, oh, like now I'm about to be cooking. The only problem is you need to have the money ready. You need to be able to sell or be willing to sell items that are maybe on your board and take a little bit of a hit to get some really cool enchanted burn item, because these people do sell a lot of enchanted items with their specific, thing. So, I mean, yeah, it can be game changer if you find the right person at the right time. But also I do find myself being like, oh, I can't afford any of this basically, or nothing good really popped up and I can't reroll because they're diamond.
Yeah,
So
8 gold reroll head, definitely. But especially if the item offered to you is diamond, and then on top of it, it has an enchantment, it can spiral out of control in terms of pricing. So like large diamond item with an enchantment costs like 96 gold. I don't think you can, often afford something like that, even if it's like incredibly strong. And sometimes it's actually pretty sad if you cannot afford that. Like you would be glad for the base diamond version without an enchantment and you would be able to afford it, but then it just has a useless enchantment and it's out of your reach and you're just sour.
Yeah, well, and sometimes it's like I would literally sell my whole board for this one item, but I still don't have enough money. I don't know, it's just a little bit depressing, but yeah, they're all good. I find, I don't know, I probably go to like Hef or Cobweb the most. But that's probably just based on who I play, especially with Vanessa lately. Cobweb, I've actually been going to.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I think I would agree. Cobweb seems like very usable, since like CC is definitely very premium right now in terms of the gameplay and all. Burn items are like usually good, and also like I really like the design of Hef, like those smoldering mustache, the smoldering mustache actually looks like really fantasy like, like this. The character is really whimsical.
Yeah, and we got that whole video about him before the game even launched, and I don't know, that video has a nice place in my heart. But I really hate. I don't hate, I guess, but I don't really like the design of Kronos.
Yeah.
The big foot in my face is just not what I want to see when I wake up and play my daily run of the Bazaar.
Yeah, it's too much. Definitely. Like I'm not a fit guy. Maybe the person who made that art has a favorite part of a human body. But that would not be me, and I would prefer if like at least put on some shoes, man. Like do you remember this photo of Sean Murray from Hello Games? Like when he was promoting the No Man's Sky like 10 years ago or something. Do you know what photo I'm talking about?
No,
So
no.
there's literally a photo, and to be fair, like Reynard has a similar photo, so maybe that's the idea behind this. Like where they sit in a suit or something, and they don't have any shoes or socks on, and like their foot is like right at the forefront of the picture. Like, it's so distracting.
Yeah, I just googled this. I don't know if I'm hiding my feet if I'm on camera. That's all I'm saying. But you do you, I guess.
I mean, maybe that's some sort of like bait for those kind of people who have a preference in regards to human body parts. And I'm
It's
not
like,
talking about cannibals.
yeah, I was gonna play the Bazaar, but then I saw Kronos, so I had to give it a go.
Oh boy.
Can see the fan art already.
Chronos Roll 34. I'm coming. Oh, why did I say that? Okay.
Oh God.
Okay. Thank you for watching this glorious episode. You may comment your favorite character, or maybe you can tell us why you hate Andy so much. So yeah, thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a sub, and I guess we'll see you on Thursday. Hopefully,
Yeah.
topics are running dry, but I think we can scrap something from the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bye.
See ya.